What's going on, everyone? So the San Antonio Spurs get further bad news. Not only do they have Victor Wembanyama out for weeks, they also have Dylan Harper out for likely a couple weeks. We did get an update on Dylan Harper that he is out of the walking boot. He is ramping up physical activity, but according to Mitch Johnson, the head coach, he said that he's still probably a couple weeks away. Did an entire video on Dylan Harper. Check it out after this video if you're interested in more information. But Stephon Castle, right? So Stephon Castle, we saw leave early due to a hip injury. It's kind of questionable going into today's game. And we officially got word from Shams Charania that he is expected to be out with that said hip injury. And he is expected to miss likely a couple weeks. Again, Spurs, I imagine, are going to be cautious with Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and Victor Wembanyama. I mean, you're talking about your three young kind of star foundation pieces that you're hoping to build a sustained dynasty with over the years, right? Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and Victor Wembanyama are kind of the three main pillars, the three main building blocks. And so you don't want to rush them back. You don't want to put them in a position to where they come back and end up missing any significant time. You're better off just kind of letting them both sit out for 2 weeks or whatever, and then hopefully bring all three back at once. But obviously this is a huge blow to a Spurs team that has exceeded expectations to start the season, that are, towards the end of this homestand, and then have a just brutal schedule coming up in which they play 10 out of 16 games on the road, and just a lot of just things that are going to be involved and invested into this. So it's unfortunate, but hey, it's the next man up mentality, right? It's, hey, you got to figure this out. You got to, whoever's next in line. Devin Vassell, this is a good opportunity for him. This is just good opportunity, period, for De'Aaron Fox, guys like that, to really kind of pick up the slack. But according to Shams Charania, San Antonio Spurs guard Stephon Castle has a left hip flexor strain and will be reevaluated in 1 to 2 weeks. Sources tell ESPN Castle has been one of the league's breakout players in his second season, averaging 17.3 points, 7.5 assists, and 5.8 rebounds. So again, I mean, he's been fantastic this year for this Spurs team. Really is kind of coming into his own a lot of ways. Little turnover prone, right? Like we'd like him to cut back on the turnovers, but again, year two, extremely young and experienced, trying to kind of navigate that. So it'll come with time. It's not something that I'm worried about right now, but as we progress, definitely something to kind of keep an eye on and monitor, as he progresses into his year three and so on and so forth. But I mean, look, he's having a great season, right? Like, he's been their primary playmaker in a lot of ways. They're kind of ace in a lot of ways for this team. They're a Swiss Army knife guy that is versatile and can defend multiple positions and play multiple positions and handle the ball or play off ball or do all these things that you need, right? Like, I've talked very heavily from the moment that they got Stephon Castle to now that, like, he's their Swiss Army knife, right? Like, I compare him to Jimmy Butler a lot, right? Because, you think of Jimmy Butler as the star that he is, but he's one of the few unselfish stars. He's one of the few stars that is willing and embraces the dirty work, right? A lot of stars in this league, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of stars in this league, right? Like, they need their 20 field goal attempts. They need to go get their 25. They don't want to go and dive for loose balls and defend the best player and do the dirty work and make the hustle plays and sacrifice and do all this stuff. But you think of a guy like a Jimmy Butler, he's a guy that doesn't really care, right? Like, hey, you need me to go get you 30? I'll get you 30. You need me to just chip in, 12, 15 points, play defense at a high level, defend the best player on the other team, grab some boards, make some plays, and just kind of carry us home because these guys over here got it offensively tonight? No problem, right? He's one of those guys that whatever you need from him, I'll do. And that's really what I look at Stephon Castle as. He's one of those guys that, like, yeah, hey, you want me to be tonight? You want me to be the best player? Sure, no problem. You want me to go drop 25, dish out 8 assists, grab 8 rebounds? Sure, no problem. Hey, tonight, whatever. Champagne's 8 of 9 from 3, so why would I take the ball out of the hot hand? Let me keep feeding the hot hand. I'll trickle in, 12 or whatever. I'll play lockdown defense. I'll be that versatile guy. I'll be diving for loose balls and doing the hustle plays, making the dirty work. No problem, right? Like those are the kind of guys you really need. Those are the real difference makers in several fronts. It's why teams are, so willing to give up and sacrifice and trade and do whatever they need to do in order to land those kind of guys. You think of guys that come to mind, right? Like Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, like guys like that really just embrace that. Marcus Smart, right? Like these guys that can, Dylan Brooks, right? Like these guys that, are kind of have a little edge to them. Right? Like Draymond Green, I think, is another guy, right? Like, the guys that they don't care. They just want to win. Right. And you see a lot of teams try to go and get those guys, to bring those guys in that can be those scrappers, that can be the hustle plays, because they're the guys that are making the winning plays, even the ones that don't show up on the box score. Right. Dorian Finney-Smith. You look at Dorian Finney-Smith, like you look at his stats at times, it's like, man, like he's good, but it's like, man, how is he your best plus minus guy right now? Is it like he's built a career of being that guy that, just makes the winning plays, right? That just does the dirty work. And, I look at a Stephon Castle very much in that same light of a guy that he can do the role player, the dirty work, the hustle play things, right? He's willing to do those things, but he also at any point can flip on that star switch and, check ball and I'll handle this. Don't worry, I got us tonight type thing. And that's just very valuable to have, especially when you have, a Dylan Harper that's, 15, 5 and 5 off the bench as the sixth man. What is he going to be when, he, actually moves into that star role and that playmaker role and stuff like that. And also Stephon Castle with his size and his length, he gives you the ability to have that flexibility, right? Like you can go right now with De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, and Stephon Castle and have those three out there, and Castle can slot in at the 3 and defend 1 through 3 and all that stuff. And then, have Wemby and then whomever else you want at the far 4, Harrison Barnes or whatever, right? Or, maybe go Luke Cornett and a Wemby at the 4 or whatever, kind of go the double big lineups. It just gives you that flexibility because you can slot in Stephon Castle essentially 1 through 3. And so, not having him really hurts, right? But you do have De'Aaron Fox. Again, this is going to be very big for De'Aaron Fox. You have De'Aaron Fox, and then on top of that, you add in, the loss of Dylan Harper and then Victor Wembanyama. And it's like, you're talking 3 of your top, 4 or 5 guys. That hurts. That hurts any team. Wemby's your best guy. I still think, De'Aaron Fox is your second best guy. And then from there, I think you make an argument it's Castle and Harper and guys like that. And now you're missing 3 of your top, like I said, at worst 6 guys. Any team is going to feel those effects. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.